Welcome to the first edition of the next Ragan Roundtable. I have my co-host here, and I'm going to ask Michelle to take it away with our intro. Michelle?
Hey, this is Tater and Mrs. Tater Tot.
The Reagans.
The Reagans. Have you all heard about the two primaries in North Carolina?
No.
Two primaries in North Carolina, one presidential primary and one general primary. Presidential primary is going to be held in February, and the other primary is supposed to be held in May. So,
how did this come about?
Back in 2013, the NCGA decided that they wanted to go ahead and be a bigger player in the presidential primary. So they went ahead and put that in with the voter ID law, that they're going to go ahead and hold the presidential primary in February and hold the regular general primary in May, because they wanted a longer campaign. They wanted to keep the longer campaign season for themselves, but they wanted a bigger say on who was going to be the presidential nominee, trying to get a jump start on everything.
So what does that mean for?
At what cost?
Yeah.
No, the cost is going to be, well, it's a good question, because the cost is going to be not only in dollars, but it's also going to be in delegate count. Dollars, just think about it. We're going to have two primaries in the state of North Carolina, and we may actually have two runoffs as well. So it'll cost millions of dollars to have the two primaries to taxpayers, not only to the state, but individual counties are going to have to pay for that. Think about the poorer counties. I mean, Lenoir County is a tier 1 county. You know, we don't have a lot of money to do a lot of things here in Lenoir County, and to spend additional funds on elections is going to be a big issue for us. But the bigger issue, though, is the delegate count. We're losing 60 delegates.
60 delegates, where we had 72 originally that we worked for, the grassroots conservative work for. We're going to lose 60 if it's held prior to March 1, or prior, in February. So now there's a movement to go to move it into the March, from March 1 to March 15, and that would make it a proportional delegate race. However, if we move it past 15th, it will be, it could be we could have our choice between winner take all or proportional. So there's.
But we would keep the 72 delegates.
We'll keep the 72 as long as we
after March 1st.
There's only 4 states that are allowed to have right now that are allowed to have theirs prior to March 1, and we're not one of them. But because the NCGA, voted to do this early on. There's been some things that have happened since then. We're in a bad position, so we really need to move this. So there's been a big push in the last several weeks. There's been articles written, and
we've got the national spotlight. I mean, national attention on the state of North Carolina, because we are, in essence, jumping ahead from our assigned slot, and our North Carolina Republican Party is going to be penalized because our NCGA moved the date back in 2013 prior to the RNC instituting the rule. But before that, they had a rule that you would lose half your delegates.
Right.
And because a state of Florida jumped ahead.
So is this just for the Republican Party?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's going to affect the Democrat Party too.
It's not just a Republican thing.
No, it's going to be a Democrat thing as well. So it's going to affect everyone if the NCGA does not move the date. There's a lot of, there's a push now to go ahead and move the date further out in March.
Right.
Because there's a few different reasons why. One is we get back our 72 delegates, recombine it with the general primary so we can save taxpayers millions of dollars. Right. Then the state gets to choose whether we want to have proportioned or winner take all.
And it's a good date because we'll be in the national spotlight. We'll have a lot of relevance here because we'll have reporters. We'll have a lot of
newscasts.
National media.
Our sales, our tax revenue will go up.
Right.
For coverage. And
well, not only that, but you got to think about voter fatigue and volunteer fatigue.
Not to mention, try to get people out to vote in 2.
Not just once, but
primaries.
Twice.
Right.
You've got voter fatigue.
It's hard enough to get them out for one.
People are apathetic now as it is.
Plus your volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, getting
the
boots on
cost.
the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to push it further out. And that's what we're
Absolutely.
going for.
I mean,
There's still a
why
holdout.
wouldn't you?
There's still a holdout in the Senate right now. There's a faction in the Senate that really doesn't want to do this. They don't want to. They you know, just that's what's going on.
Right.
And I read, you know, multiple articles. I've written a couple articles on it, but today I read an article, and I'm not going to go into the details, but you'll see more about it. Pay attention. You know, never surrender your rights, never give up, never shut up, and keep getting up, because this is important. This affects us in our state. It affects what we work for, and we've got to keep pushing. Any last words?
Yeah, move the freaking date.